Reactions and tributes are pouring in to Aerosmith after last week the legendary rock band announced they were retiring and they canceled the remainder of their farewell tour. This is due to vocalist Steven Tyler dealing with singing issues. They said they had worked with the medical team to try to get his voice back in shape for the stage, but they determined that would unfortunately not be possible. And now a number of artists are speaking out about the band's legendary career that's now coming to an end. Formed in 1970 in Boston, Massachusetts, Aerosmith went on to become one of the most successful rock bands of all time. Their debut self-titled album was released in 1973, featuring their iconic hit Dream On. The group would go on to break through success on their sophomore album, Toys in the Attic, in 1975, featuring songs like Sweet Emotion and Walk This Way. The band has sold an astonishing 150 million records over the course of their career, making them one of the most successful bands of all time. And in addition to their knack for writing hit songs, the band built a reputation for their outstanding live shows, one they're clearly not willing to compromise due to Steven Tyler's vocal issues, with many musicians applauding the band for knowing when it's time to step down from the stage. The band said in a statement last week announcing their retirement, "It was 1970 when a spark of inspiration became Aerosmith. Thanks to you, our Blue Army. That spark caught flame and has been running for over 5 decades. Some of you have been with us since the beginning, and all of you are the reason we made rock and roll history. It has been the honor of our lives to have our music become part of yours. In every club, on every massive tour, and at moments grand and private, you have given us a place in the soundtrack of your lives. We've always wanted to blow your mind when performing. As you know, Steven's voice is an instrument like no other. He spent months tirelessly working on getting his voice to where it was before his injury. We've seen him struggling despite having the best medical team by his side. Sadly, it is clear that a full recovery from his vocal injury is not possible. We have made a heartbreaking and difficult but necessary decision as a band of brothers to retire from the touring stage. We are grateful beyond words for everyone who was pumped to get on the road with us one last time. Grateful to our expert crew, our incredible team, and the thousands of talented people who've made our historic runs possible. A final thank you to you, the best fans on planet Earth. Play our music loud, now and always. Dream on. You've made our dreams come true." And in addition to all the tributes pouring in from musicians, Steven Tyler's daughter, Mia Tyler, shared the following tribute. She wrote, "To you, he might just be Steven Tyler, the silly-looking guy with the long hair, makeup, painted nails, and incredible voice. But to me, he is so much more. Not only is he one of, if not the most talented singers to have ever lived, but he's also the hardest working man I've ever known. Putting his voice and career first has always been a tough beast to compete with as his family, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because he's created a legacy that will live on in infamy. He's a rock star to you, but a champion to us, someone my son aims to be like, and I cannot wait to see what my dad's path has paved for my son. Seeing him retire today has left a big hole in my heart. Knowing how much he loves performing for each and every one of you, I know how hard a decision this was, but I can't help but look back at his whole entire life and see just how epic it truly has been. This isn't the end, but a new chapter. I hope you all take a moment to appreciate the hard work and dedication he has put into entertaining us all. I wouldn't be here without him, and I certainly love him to the moon and back. We all do. Aerosmith was my first concert, and I will never forget how amazing their shows were. So many wonderful memories. We love you so much. Thank you for blessing us with your talent." And Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx took to social media earlier today to pay tribute to Aerosmith. Nikki Sixx wrote, "In 1973, a 15-year-old kid named Frank Ferrana walked into a record store alone and emerged with the first Aerosmith album in hand. I would carry that album with me everywhere, including to friends' houses, confessing to them that this was the future of rock and roll. As the years rolled on, my opinion never changed. Lyrically, musically, rhythmically, and especially with those monster songs, Aerosmith was unparalleled. Their entire catalog is outstanding, but those first 5 albums were the holy grail for a young future Nikki Sixx. I recently sat on the cliffs in St. Barths, playing along to those albums. Can I just say, Tom Hamilton's work continues to inspire me. And what a rhythm section they had with Joey Kramer behind that kit. Joe Perry and Brad Whitford wove those guitars back and forth to the point you sometimes couldn't distinguish the dueling guitars because the sound became one big kick to the side of the head. Steven Tyler to me has always been the ultimate singer, lyricist, and showman. But personally, he's a man who helped me at the beginning of sobriety. I've been lucky to become a peer, a friend, and always a fan of this great American rock and roll band. Thank you, Aerosmith, for everything. And former Van Halen frontman Sammy Hagar took a moment from his show to address the news of the retirement, and he said that Steven Tyler's decision to bow out, knowing that he couldn't repair his voice, was an honorable move. Here's what Sammy Hagar had to say about Aerosmith's decision to retire.
We had some crazy news today. Aerosmith came and said, yeah, Aerosmith called retirement today. They quit, they stopped. In 1973, Montrose was playing Cobo Hall, and we were opening for Aerosmith, and we didn't know who they were, and they sold out Cobo Hall. I'm going, who are these guys, right? So we did our show, we did an encore, and we played Helter Skelter for our encore, right? And Aerosmith comes on, and they open with Helter Skelter. Steven and I have been friends ever since. But anyway, what a shame. It's a sad thing, but honestly, God, my hat goes off to one of the greatest rock and roll singers of all time, Mr. Steven Tyler.
And the Black Crowes shared the following message. We are shocked and saddened by this news from earlier today. Nothing but love and respect for our friends in Aerosmith. Heartfelt thanks for all of this incredible memories. And REO Speedwagon shared the following tribute to the legendary rock band. They wrote, "Hi friends. Back in the early 1970s, REO Speedwagon was regularly booked to open for bigger bands who needed help selling tickets in the Midwest. We had no hits, but we were a pretty powerful band with plenty of loyal fans. It was not unusual for headliners to give us no monitors, maybe one spotlight, the dankest dressing rooms. They especially sabotaged our performance. They wanted to draw our fans. They just didn't like the competition. Then, in 1976, we were chosen to open for Aerosmith, and everything changed. On the first night of the tour, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry came to our dressing room, which was stocked with beer and assorted munchies, introduced themselves, and welcomed us to their tour. We compared guitars. Steven invited us to join them after every show for a great meal. We were given all access to their party suite. They treated us with respect. Rather than mess with us, Steven and Joe wanted the best for us, as Aerosmith was not intimidated at all. They used the energy of the REO Speedwagon performance to lift them. They rocked extra hard as a result, and the audience was the ultimate winner. The last time I saw Steven Tyler was a few years ago at the Sweden Rocks Festival. I was watching Aerosmith from the stage, right wing, when he walked over during a guitar break and handed me a set of headphones with his monitor mix. That was cool. I learned a lot from Steven Tyler. Any band who has opened for REO and been treated with love and respect has Steven to thank. As big a star as he is, whenever our paths have crossed, there is always a good vibe and an acknowledgement of our long-time connection. It seems impossible that the great Steven Tyler's retirement will be permanent. He is such a force of nature. But if this is the time for him to hang up his scarves, then so be it, and more power to him. He's given so much of himself and left so much of himself on stage, in venues all around the world. He's earned the right to take his final bow whenever he sees fit. I will be thinking of him as we rock his hometown of Boston tonight on our summer road trip tour, KC. And former Motley Crue frontman John Corabi also responded to the news. He wrote, "Thank you, Aerosmith, for giving this kid a lesson in no frills, straight ahead rock and roll. I started my career in an Aerosmith tribute band, and here I am 35 years later. Thank you immensely, Steven Tyler, for teaching me Seasons of Wither and giving me the story. This was a bucket list moment. You guys are everything I've ever wanted to be, and then some. I love you all. Enjoy your lives now." And Skid Row released a statement paying homage to Aerosmith. They wrote, "We were honored to share the stage with the legendary Aerosmith for their Pump Tour 1989 to 1990. Their energy, talent, and passion for music have always been an inspiration to us and countless others. As they retire from the touring stage, we want to celebrate their incredible career and the indelible mark they've left on us in rock and roll history. Here's some favorite memories from Snake, Scotty, and Ratchet when they toured with them." Snake said, "Touring with Aerosmith was one of the greatest times in the history of our band. Every night, no matter how good of a show we thought we had, they would go out and show us and the rest of the world why they're one of the most legendary and iconic bands in the annals of rock and roll. And as great of a band as they are, they're even better people. They treated us so amazingly and taught us humility, gratitude, and grace in the midst of their immense success. Thank you so much to the boys in Aerosmith for giving a bunch of punks from New Jersey the opportunity and the honor to share the stage with absolute legends, and for giving the world some of the greatest music ever created. There will never be another Aerosmith. And Scotty Hill wrote, "The few months we spent on tour with Aerosmith was a unique, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Being able to sit and talk guitars with Brad and Joe, saying hi to Steven in a backstage hallway as he chomped a plain baked potato to carb load before a show. Feeling that instantly recognizable groove of Tom and Joey every night. Unforgettable in every way. Thank you, Aerosmith." And Rachel Bolin wrote, "For me personally, it was the first time we toured with the band that influenced my playing and my songwriting. Every time I ran into one of those guys in the hallway or they walk into the dressing room, I had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming." And it's clear that Aerosmith's music will continue to be enjoyed for many years to come after such a legendary career. To hear those artists talk about how inspired they were by Aerosmith's music, it's hard to imagine that there will ever be a band again that goes on to sell over 150 million records around the world. So it's been an amazing career for them. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates.